What happened there? Oh, yeah? Had heaps of people back out, bro. They pussied out. Yeah. There he is. Warzone? Yeah, COD at the moment. It's not coming through. Put it close to the mic. Yeah, can hear it now.
Eliminate the enemy.
See that style? I don't even listen to that style of rap because I just find it whiny and whiny, man. It's that young, what's his name? Young fucking somebody style. Yeah, I just don't like it. Yeah, no, it is good. It's a seller. Yeah, yeah. Do the same thing and just say make it sexy and romantic. It needs to be more about love, just the shit on the phone, you know what I mean? That's right. That's what I'm saying. There's enough carried hurt. Is what I was getting at. And yeah, I get that. I think I know where you're going there. I'm just talking about like as if it was like, you're sitting out and someone fucking whack something on and you go, nah, I fucking turn that pussy shit off, put this on. It's like good fun, you know? Just face off, bro. Face off. How many more guns do you have to go, Jim? Haven't you leveled up? Right here. Yeah. You've even leveled up the new ones, eh? Oh, I didn't even need headshots anyway. I don't know what I was doing. I needed double kills, 30 point blank, and 15 hot swaps. Yeah, it's alright. It's good for a subby.
Frank face-off kill confirmed. We have our orders. See it through. Hostiles are pulling the lead.
What the hell? I put on dual wield and it was shit.
You're falling behind, Crimson.
Shouldn't have put dual wield on. Don't know. No, he's okay, but oh, fuck it, I'm fixing this gun up.
They've taken the lead. taken the lead. Stay on task. We've claimed the advantage. Now hold it.
Oh, God, shocking. Not even after headshots. After point blank. Sus as these guys. Depends how good you know this map. These guns are sliders, bro. They fucking slide and slide and what gun was that? Hard map this one, man. It's that grocery one. It's just too fast. They're just sliding around every corner. Just either got a shotty or a subby. And it's just like pistol can't do nothing. That's so. Yeah. Yeah, that map is so fast, bro. Exchange, it's called. Oh, it's got a grocery thing, yeah. And it's got yeah, a couple little chambers, but yeah, yeah, it's like a grocery thing with apples. And it's a grocery one, yeah. It's outside. It's all outside. I like getting hijacked and bullet though. Eh? I really like that maps, bro. Oh, what about like the Modern Warfare 3 small maps? You know, they were alright. The ones on Modern Warfare 3 we were playing them. You know, it's just like the ones with the one inside the ship where you got the containers or fucking. They should just bring like a Call of Duty fucking collaboration map fucking game out. You know what I mean? That would sell, bro. Just one that had a collaboration of all their multiplayer maps. Like, like Destiny 2. Right out there. Coming up top. Ace on. On the roof. One. To the right. Probably won't kill. Yeah, they are. So. I don't know why they're not dying, eh?
That didn't go as planned. Time to disappear.
been happening heaps, eh? Good map, bro. Down the middle.
All threats neutralized. Scour the area and find whatever they're hiding.
Yo. Well, you were playing last night with me. Nah. When? You've actually been playing more than me. You've been playing way more than me, bro. I only just jumped on the last 2 days. Yeah, Tony's almost up to plum. You reckon you had a plum?
Great face-off team deathmatch. Neutralize all threats. Lead time. Cancel. We lost the lead. We're taking control. Falling behind.
we lose that.
Step ahead today.
Getting closer, bro. Sorry, in a couple more games. Yeah?
Frank,
Snap.
stop kill confirmed. Shoot to kill. We're not here to negotiate.
Blood. Legging. Oh, they're up close. Yeah, I like this map. reckon.
Time short. Put your head down and secure the target. You lost
Yeah,
it.
man.
Langley won't be pleased.
This is not the end. I will be reborn.
Hostiles have assault pack resupply.
Greg face-off kill confirmed. You wanna clear your name? This is where it happens. We got the lead. Now hold it.
Yeah, bro. Are you in this game? Are you in it? Oh, great one. I would have been in the game before. There's nothing better than this game. Oh, I'm doing it a few things. I'm just worried about this at the moment. I went, hey, you can do whatever you want, bro. I'm just going to be next. I've got my goals. Yeah. So,
Damn it, they must have hacked our comms. Don't start. We'll pick you
Not
up later.
closing this one. Get us the hell out of here.
sorry? What'd you say? Yeah, easy, bro. Easy, man. I'm just gonna be good. Yeah, why do you think I just do that? Never get done. Even when I have the truck right there, and it's like, fucking, you just want to blow it up. Fuck that. Bro, I put the truck right in the gate. It was fucking there. I was like, you wanted it, so I let you have it. And fucked up. I said, have you got it? I said, have you got it? And you went, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, fine. You want it? You have it. And then that's it. Well, it doesn't matter. It's just fun, but it's just like, yeah, all right. When it's like that and it's at the end, like yeah, there's the one time I was there trying to do it though, bro.
Strike face-off team deathmatch. Eliminate the enemy. Take them out.
Yeah, well, I want to play GTA, but as I say, I'm it's just COD fanatic, bro.
Attention, c'est pas grenade. Check your aim.
Yeah, Borderlands 5's coming out, isn't it? For yeah, yeah, mad. Yeah, just a weekend, like grind, hey. Remember when we started playing number one? We had the expansion pack. We started on that one, the zombie one. Yeah. Alex Jones is going to universities now. That's not what he was. That's not what he was trying to project. I think one of his big things was he wanted to be president, bro. So everything he was doing, of course, had that fucking also that slate. You get what I'm saying? In order to be the best president that he ever wanted to be, you just started from the ground up, really building them systemic fundamental beliefs and also having a lot of the study and the backup, this to lay out when he gets into conflicts. You get what I mean? So he wasn't short pocketed. He always had the Mr. Kirk. He always had the he always had the wise guy fucking anti. You know what I mean? Like that was his sort of thing. He wanted to be president. He was working to be president. Was what I was saying. Like it was his whole agenda. It was his whole goal. It was like that's why he was the way that he. Even though like he just wanted to be president, so he did what he was saying as the best way in the Christian value. You know what I mean? He achieved his ultimate goal, bro. Yeah, Yeah, he stood up against Islamists. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. You know, no one would ever. Yeah, just from interactions with people. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when he does say things, I go, yeah, I'm glad that he fucking, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, he was coming from that base, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. And then you go, oh, well, he's coming from that base, well, fucking, he's relying too much upon his numbers and shit. You know what I mean? And that, you know what I mean? Like, it was easy to see that, you know what I mean? That's what I was getting at. Like, he would always have the wise guy, like, answers in the back, you know what I mean? The ones that would make him look bigger. You know what I mean? Not necessarily have the right answer though. You know what I mean? Like it's like, but he could spit the right answers to some things. It was only a few weeks ago that people were getting up him for that thing about the deaf people. Remember, he fucking said that they didn't need deaf people on the screen. Everyone was harking up about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was something real stupid like that. He said something about like, oh, they don't need deaf people on the screen. They can just have these captions and that. And then like the deaf community and everyone was like, disability people like, oh, what the fuck? What are you saying now? Oh, it was something for it was something for the football, it was something for the football screen. Like, you know, they had the captions up for something. They had the deaf person on there, but it was filling up the screen. Yeah. Anyway, he was making he made comments about it, but then he got educated, and he even comes out and he says, "Oh, I'm more educated, and I understand that now. Them deaf people need that. You know what I mean?" He's like, "Oh, my bad." You know, oh man, what was the funny thing about it? It was like only just like the last 2 weeks that happened. It was his big thing that he was coming off of. You get what I'm saying? You know, when there's like a big thing and then it's like, oh, and then the media will give you a bit of slack, you know, and you know, so it would have been rolling off that. The cunt that shot him was someone that I think talked to him once, and he had an argument with him, and yeah, he walked away like angry and pissed off and that. Yeah. But there's a little bit more to it as well. There's a little bit more in the sense that there might have been higher influencers also wanting it, like people up in the top of Amazon, because of course they could see the money to be made in something like this. You know what I'm saying? And that was another thing is that people already had potential like interest in it, and it was also the Satanist thing was when they were coming up and they were threatening that they were putting curses on him and all that, and that's also part of that bigger network. You know what I mean? Of ultra wealthy as well, sending in the smaller, you know, Nazi fucking Ku Klux Klan sort of cults that they sort of have under their belts, sort of in there just to cause up fucking disturbance. You know what I mean? Like throwing scoundrels just in the midst of a minority to disrupt their fucking ecology and well, 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 well thoughted routine and being. You know what I mean? Like it's been a thing in all ancient histories. They send people over to smaller guys, and they just they pay them just to hail out insults in a fucking crowd or something. You know what I mean? Or do things like that. You get what I'm saying? Like it's been a well known established thing for a long time that that doctrine of disruption. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, like that's and it's in every day. The scoundrel in the mist. It's called. You know what I mean? You put the scoundrels there to accuse them, and then let the people disorientated from the confusion of was the person actually bad? They were just more on the run of like the persecution. You know what I'm saying? Like they just will run with the person. They're easily fed to the persecution. Like, oh, he's a fuckwit because he was saying that Quiz couldn't get married. Fucking glad he died. Fucking, you get what I'm saying? Like, it starts going around that vial of essence of nature. You know what I mean? That them vials, them evil tendencies, sort of like the blankness of people's own perceptions. They're saying that they're not the nasty evil ones, but then they want to be nasty and evil to other people that don't fit their fucking narratives. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's right. Exactly. I thought that too. Everyone, like, like you get up and you be the wise guy. You know what I mean? You're gonna fucking tickle a few fucking feathers. Sometimes you're gonna fucking hit a few whiskers, and then sometimes you fucking maybe scratch a few claws. It's fucking. But that rustling, you know what I'm saying? That has to take place in people. It says the heavens and the earth were shaken as if a fig was shaken of its figs. The heavens were shaken as if it was sh- dropping of its fruit. You know what I mean? Like the season of all humanity and its ripeness has finally come to its full head. And that's also known as what's they come to one consent. You get what I mean? Like how there isn't like one religion in the world, but yet everyone will still fucking get along and still live to some sort of fucking code. You know what I mean? Whether it is our law or fucking whatever, like we will obey our law, otherwise we'll fucking get punished. So, everyone will obey the law to a degree, you know what I mean? But that doesn't stem to how people want to live or what they want to do with their lives or fucking, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's a completely different fucking thing altogether. How they choosing to live, that's what it's really like shaking, shaking of the dropping of the figs when the consent, when people are all of like of an understanding, like we've all understood like good people shouldn't die for no reason. Then you get a good person dying for no reason, and then you get people out there exasperating and fucking celebrating over it. You know what I mean? It's accentuating. It's a bit fucked up like that, bro. Like fair enough. Maybe if everyone in the fucking world was dead, it would be a better place. We could all understand it from that perspective. You know what I mean? But it's like that whole thing about killing Hitler's baby. Is it right to kill Hitler's baby? He's just a baby. He hasn't done the things that he did. You come from the future, you come back. Is it ethical? You know what I mean? Like, it's only a child at that point. Things haven't really. That's that. And what I'm getting at there too is in the hyper in the hyperextension of the way that it all takes place. You get what I'm saying? It's the fact that you know, it was choice. You know, the people knew what was good and evil their whole life, and that was solidly foundationally based in them. From the monotheistic fucking um, orthomology in the world that comes across as an orthomology as it crosses through intergenerationally. But when Yeah, you know what I mean? We all know what right and wrong is. We just all have a different mindset about that. You get what I'm saying? Like they have a different mentality about it, you know, and that's what the Christian belief seeks to resolve, is it just brings everyone into a single mentality of you're not an ungoverned being. You get what I'm saying? You are governed, but you're governed by the the higher forces, you know, that surmise your life, whether you had hope or whether you had, you know, faith or patience, even, you know what I'm saying? If someone had patience in their life, and that gets, that becomes an example, you know what I mean? Exemplified when someone dies. When someone dies, if they were patient, a patient person, well, that's exemplified in their life, you know what I'm saying? If someone was impatient, so they took things in their own hand and they went and they did something, you know, within their power, but was obstruct to, you know, a minority of people's well-being. You know what I'm saying? Like they can go in there and just enslave people and freaking murder a village just because they had the power to. You know, then that also becomes exemplified through history. You know what I mean? Through the testimony of someone's life. But you get what I'm saying, and that's the whole thing. Is it's just a different mentality. They didn't have the same perception of you were a governed body and a governed soul. They believe that they can govern their own worlds. It's a different one. It's a different formality. It's a different formality that exists there. You know what I mean? Between that which is guaranteed life in the Word of God. It's you know, when it's given to you as a promise, and it said, "This is your guarantee that you shall live and have eternal life." You know, and when someone takes that guarantee and it's a teaching, you know what I'm saying? The guarantee is a teaching. You know what I mean? It's an instruction. You too also are meant to have hope and believe for the new day, for the new light. The morning star shall arise in your life, you know, and so forth, so on, so on. That's the government of God, is that hope manifests itself in people's hearts, that when they arise to their actions and their lives in the things that they do and the things that they say, you know what I mean? It comes out through their perspective on how they're perceiving whether they are governed or whether they are ungoverned. You know what I mean? The mind that believes it's ungoverned to its own choices and whatnot, of course, won't have the intuition and the quickness to perceive, you know what I mean, in hostility, for example, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't adhered to the threat or the discretion that we must have amongst our peers. You know what I mean? That if you're not equipped with discretion amongst your peers, well, then you're not going to come to a conclusive foundation, you know, or aspect of perspective in life, purity of aspect, because everyone's aspects did only arrive from the things in which they did have hope and they believed, you know what I mean, and therefore they received and also learnt, you know what I mean, like, and then that's another thing is we have fascination, and the fascination becomes inclined through the inclination of our lives and our choices and our thoughts. So if our thoughts have been unclean, that means not under the covering of God's counsel. You know, God has given us counsel, but men choose not to live by it. You get what I'm saying? Therefore, you know, they live under the covering of uncleanness because they did not take on the covering that was already provided. And that's what circumcision and all these other practices that we also observe through the observation of faith, why these ordinances were laid in place and why God set them as a foundation And as Jesus says, he who builds upon this stone, no man shall be able to break down or plunder or destroy his goods. If you build upon the right foundation of your knowledge, the foundation of your knowledge in its conception of perception, like the inception of ideas. It's like you yourself have an ability to transfix the aspect of your surroundings in your imagination. A lucid dream, for example, you have control over your vision. You know what I'm saying? Through the vision of things. You see, like prophecy of all things is vision of things. The prophets were called the seer. You know what I mean? And the thing about the seer was they had an ear to hear into the things or the inclinations of the ordinances and prospects of the aspects that God um, put upon the people, in that it was also maintaining his justice by bringing about compassion and forgiveness for sins. You know what I'm saying? There has to be justice maintained, but there has to be an order where people can be redeemed. If someone does something wrong in their life, but they still got a whole life ahead of them. You know what I mean? What we just cut people off and shun them and exile them immediately to redeem themselves in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, society has really lost that aspect in it's a run over principle. And that's why also we can relate to what is at the end of time, because it speaks of the trotting over of the feet. You know what I mean? The people will trod one over another, in that their exploitation, the things in which they venture to achieve and succeed, they already have failed because they didn't reverence their hearts to reconcile to the amendments that God had brought through his testimony, which is of the final proclamation of the atonement of all things. You see, like life lives and life dies, but in the power of God and his hope, things become redeemed and atoned. And that's also brought in what's known as the practice of the Redeemer of Blood, which was an old tradition where we exchange the rights and the deeds over the ownership of lands. And because it is a matter of the ownership over lands, that is the key primary principle of redemption of blood. People were killed, people were put to death, people were, embezzled in order that that land may sustain its liberty and its civil freedoms in the ethnicity as the purposeful culture of every ethnicity, in that they wake up to the day and they arise and they will do certain things. That's why we say to live by light, because it's not a matter of ethnicity or group or tongue or language or nationality from that facet. You understand the things from the core principle of awaken to the day. You know what I mean? That person has to perceive the world through the light of the eyes. You know what I mean? In the same world that you have to perceive and live. They can't come up with a conclusion and bring that to you, and then you can weigh it. You weigh it in your balances and wisdom within you to weigh its portion, whether it's of use or whether it's useless. You know what I'm saying? Whether it has it's of strength or whether it's of weakness. And the weaker things get discarded and pushed aside, and the stronger things remain and become, again, strengthened and built up and restored. But when people have sinned, and they are broken, they're right in God, you know what I mean? Well, in society, we are harsh on those that we perceive have sinned. You get what I'm saying? As in, old mate takes that fucking chick and he rapes her or whatever, and every cunt is going to jump on the persecution fucking wheel straight away. Like that. Exactly. That's right. There is certain sins that will never be atoned for, and that's because people have committed themselves to what's called the covenant of death. You know what I mean? They never had value in the life and the light of God. Therefore, they only ever perceived darkness and death. And they were willing to contract with darkness and death. And what remains is the exaltation of their wickedness and evil. You know what I'm saying? So when an evil person does an evil thing and then they, blow off their fucking own brain, everyone sits back and we all know how fucking stupid it was. We all go, oh, that was the most fucking stupid fucking thing anyone could have ever done. What would ever fucking put them into made them ever fucking do them things? They're abominable things. You can't even fucking look upon evil. It says the eyes of God are pure, but they cannot even look upon evil. You get what I'm saying? So if the things in God are high and they cannot look upon evil, but then he asks his prophets to step in and intervene on his behalf, and then he causes them to look upon the evil. Like, it's not that the evil's hidden away from God. God still um, relays with the evil that's in the world. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't look upon it because his wisdom is not of it. If that makes sense, well, the wisdom that perpetrates wickedness and evil, it comes from the devil, and it manifests itself through people and ignorance. If they never really reconciled to the amendments that we make in the New Testament, for example, which is a lot of amendments that were, again, of the predecessors' legacy for the successors. So you have your predecessors and your successors after. You know what I'm saying? That will carry on the ordinance and uphold its tradition and its legacy. Well, that also takes place when people commit suicide. It's upholding that legacy of death. You know what I mean? When people go out and kill, they uphold the legacy that is in death. When people steal, they uphold the legacy that's in theft. And the theft is the big one, because then that theft isn't as big as a penalty as killing, is it? You know what I'm saying? But yet it's still something that's derivably wicked. Someone who steals, of course, could be someone who would kill. You know what I'm saying? That's the derivative. If someone is in the community and it was the last community on earth, they come in and start raping the women, it might be best to maybe wipe out that evil before it infects another breed of people to think the same. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want all the men then growing up saying, well, fucking old man was fucking, he had all the women, he had all the sex, and fucking, I'm not getting nothing. Women aren't looking at me, aren't giving me attention. Let's just go in there and fucking, and it's excuse. It's a Biden excuse to why they never accepted the ordinance of God. You know what I'm saying? It's just relaying that I was born this way. That's how everybody else is, and I was never taught any better. So, in many essences, people that do these stupid, dumb things, they have a Biden excuse, and that Biden excuse stems from the fact that they neglected um, the miracle that was given. You know what I'm saying? Like, for one thing, they reject the miracle of life. And that's what the virgin birth is such a big thing. Why of all things, does God choose to anoint his chosen shepherd, you know, for humanity, as if it's God's choice to appoint a leader to represent us, you know what I mean? But in also choosing a leader that represents us, it's also representing him because we're made in his image, so we must come forward as the best representative, you know what I mean? To fulfill our purpose, we have to become the best representative of the creator. The creator, must thrive throughout us. Creation, the power of creation. It's within us. And that's what is a